Today we're problem solving with multiplication and division, remembering what we learned about addition and subtraction. We're going to be able to compare them and then hopefully have some strategies that will help us decide which operation we need to solve certain problems. Multiplication is combining equal parts to make a whole. If you remember when we learned addition, addition was combining parts. The only difference now is that multiplication, the parts have to be equal. Division is separating it into equal parts. And subtraction was simply separating it into parts. So when we're multiplying and dividing, the key word we're going to look for is the word each. Most of the time, in a multiplication problem, there are keywords. Those keywords always include each. We're going to look for them today and perhaps see some others. Here is a diagram of the thinking block strategy that we are going to use to help us solve our problems. This is what you're looking at when you look at multiplication and division problems. You have a total. There are 7 pieces and you're trying to figure out the amount of each piece. That would be division. If the problem told you that you had 7 pieces and each of them were this, and you would need the total, then that would require multiplication. So again, that first question we're asking ourselves is, do we know the total? Do we know how many in all or all together? Do we know the area? So each one of these could be used as multiplication or division. When you are told that you have a rectangle that has the dimensions of 12 by 6, that's having 12 rows with 6 in each. Multiplying them together gives you the area. If you're given the area and one of the dimensions, then you're going to divide to find the missing dimension. Let's look at some examples. This is what you should write in your notes for what you're going to do when you solve some problems. First of all, read the word problem entirely. Don't just look through and try to find the numbers without reading to see what it's really asking. Then, the first question you ask yourself is, do I know the total? If you don't know the total, then you're going to add or multiply. If you do know the total, then you're going to divide or subtract. It really is that simple. Ask if the groups are equal. If you are trying to figure out the total, are the groups you are combining equal? If they're equal groups, you multiply. If you know the total and you're trying to find the pieces, then you want to know if the pieces you're trying to identify are equal or not equal. Remember, equal groups multiply, divide. Not equal groups add or subtract. Perhaps this diagram will help you if you put this in your notes. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. This one is combining. This one is combining. This one is separating. This one is separating. So you can see the relationship between addition and multiplication as well as the relationship between subtraction and division. But since elementary school, you've been taught that there are relationships between addition and subtraction and multiplication and division. So the relationship between addition and subtraction is that they are not equal groups. And this is that they are equal groups. All right, let's put these blocks to use. Ruth paid $96 for 12 sweaters. What was the price of each sweater? Right off, I recognize the word each, which tells me that something is equal because I want to know the price of each. So I'm either going to multiply or divide. So now I have to ask myself the question, do I know the total? Or is the total what I'm missing? Ruth paid $96 for 12 sweaters. The total is given. So in the box where I would write total, I would write 96 for 12 sweaters, which means that I need to break this into 12 parts. What is the cost of each of those? And now because I have this set up, this is a question mark, because this is what I don't know. What is the price of each sweater? 96 divided by 12 is 8. $8 for each sweater. Now, this part seems unnecessary perhaps, but it is very important, because if I had multiplied 96 times 12 and then written this part of the sentence, hopefully when my answer was greater than $1,000, it wouldn't have made sense if I paid that much for each sweater. So I would have gone back and checked my work. So writing the label from the question is very important. Sue bought 5 dolls that cost $12 each. What was the total cost? Well, do I know the total? No, because it's asking me what the total cost was. So, my question mark is here. And now I know that I have 5 dolls that cost 12 each. There's my 5 dolls, and there are 12 each. Now I can see I have a set of 12s that I have to combine to come up with $60 total. Again, I just took that keyword out of the question so that I could put it in the answer, and it helps me mentally check my work. This one requires you to use 2 lines, and it's actually going to require you to use 2 operations. Eric had $6 and Phil had 5 times as much. How much did they have in all? This one, I would draw a box for Eric and a box for Phil. Eric had $6, so this box is going to represent the money that Eric has. Phil has 5 times as much. That means that I'm going to draw this many boxes 5 times down here. There is 2 times as much, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as much. And because the boxes are equal, we're going to put $6 in each of these. And now my question mark would go here, because my question mark is how much did they have in all. And because I drew Eric's amount and gave Phil 5 times as much, my question mark is asking me to solve 6 times 6. So the answer is $36. Sarah made $3.50 when she sold 7 bracelets at her yard sale. How much was each bracelet sold for? Go through my list of questions. Do I know the total? Yes. Is it equal groups? Yes, because it's asking me each. So here's my thinking blocks. $3.50 is my total, and 7 is my set, and I want to know how much each one was. So because I have this $3.50, I have to equally divide it into each group. So the answer is 50 cents for each bracelet. For your push pause today, instead of me asking you questions, I'd like for you to go to this website. You can find a link on Edline, but go to this website, www.mathplayground.com. /thinkingblocks.html. Do at least 5 problems using the multiplication or division. If you're feeling like you're a level 3, then try fractions or even ratios, but spend some time on this website practicing what you've learned about problem solving.